Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerdlings of all ages, TSL.HyuN is going to be going up against EG.PuMa, and the game, what's that, is starting right now! Terran vs. Zerg, ESV Cloud Kingdom, best of 3. Dreamhack, Groups of Death, brought to you by JoRoSaR. Let's get into this game. Looks like a couple of the casters are still loading up. Don't worry, guys, we'll be in this game shortly, and there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the second match of the day, and the level of epic is not going to be let up at all. Spawning in the bottom left corner of ESV Cloud Kingdom as the blue Terran player, we have none other than a very, very evil genius indeed. Guys, it's going to be EG.PuMa. And over here, in the top right corner, his opponent, beating Naniwa 2-0 yesterday. What will he be able to do against this Terran player here today? Let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, from Team SCV Life, it is HyuN. So, a very nice ZVP potentially set up here. Cloud Kingdom, of course, is a map where Zergs traditionally find it a little bit more difficult to take their third base because of this huge wide ramp going up into it, allowing Protoss just multiple avenues of attack. It's likely we will see an expansion out of both of our players, but the question is whether HyuN would be able to hold on to a third, assuming we don't go for any one base play. We'll have to wait and see what happens a little bit later on in this game. In the meantime, we do see, sorry, did I say PVZ? ZVT even. My goodness, I am still in ZVP mode after casting quite a few of those yesterday. My apologies. But PuMa is going to be starting with a barracks wall off as per standard. Do we see a gas go down for him? We do not, so potentially implying that he's going to be going a 1 Rax expand off of this build. This could be very interesting indeed. So both sides are reasonably intent on getting an expansion, and we do have the hatch now going down for HyuN as well. And of course, what I said earlier about Protoss coming up this massive ramp to the third also applies in a TVZ scenario as well. At the end of the day, PuMa is also very good with his multitasking and drop play, and if anything, this third is arguably more susceptible to small sort of guerrilla attack style stuff. What we won't see more of is PuMa, if he decides to move in with his entire army, he needs to make sure he's able to take out HyuN quickly, because there are lots of avenues for counter-attack on this map as well that HyuN can try and exploit to force a base race. So that's going to be one of the things we want to be watching out for later on in this game. Extractor now going to be going down, as well as the pool for TSL.HyuN. He's going to be trying to establish early map control with those, with those speedlings. And we don't actually see any gas being mined from PuMa yet, so if he's going to be transitioning into reactored Hellions, he's going to be doing it a little bit later. The Overlord now sees that the expansion is down and immediately retreats to the high ground so that HyuN gets a good idea of when PuMa is going to be popping out of his base. And he is going to be feeling relatively safe at the moment, making 2 queens and still continuing to drone up at the moment. I like this very much, guys. He saw the expansion go down for PuMa, and HyuN is just staying calm. He knows his pool is done, but he's not producing Zerglings yet. And the reason he's not producing Zerglings yet is because he sees that 400 minerals have been spent on this command center. Therefore, no aggression is going to be incoming anytime soon. So 0 Zerglings out on the map for HyuN, and that is completely, entirely the correct decision here. Very, very high level play coming out from both sides. Neutral supply depots does not please this Terran, and it looks like PuMa is going to destroy it. What I want to know, when these neutral supply depots get destroyed, don't they open up and sink into the ground? Where's the hole that it once was? The ground gets miraculously repaired. I think there should be a pitfall there once a supply depot gets destroyed. But anyway, 2 Marines now going to be stuck in that forward bunker, and HyuN just going to be moving out the map finally with his first 2 links of the game, going to be crisscrossing around the dominion of Space Shark, ladies and gentlemen, who of course has to bless all attacks on this map if he wants them to be successful. Going to try and take the watchtowers, and then a Marine is in fact going to say no, bagging his first Zerg of the day. And HyuN, bold move, going to be taking his third catchery as well. So it looks like we are poised for a bit of back and forth action here. The question now is going to be whether PUMA will be able to try and deny TSL.HyuN's additional hatcheries here. And look, supply depots getting destroyed on both sides of the map. The hole's getting miraculously repaired, although in this case getting filled in by creep. Metabolic boost now almost done for these Zergs, and we see that he is still mining gas. So TSL.HyuN going to be teching up off of this. He did not stop mining gas. He's got his third expansion out now, and it's going to be completely fine. He wants to continue getting gas as much as possible now so that he can tech up whenever and wherever he feels like. Roach Warren even getting planted down, and he must be feeling safe against early game harassment. The first two Hellions are now going to be popping out for PUMA, as predicted, a little bit later than if, for example, he went for a gas burst opening, but we do have a starport completing as well, and it looks like the barracks is making way for the starport, which means we're going to be seeing some Banshee action going on here. PUMA now sees the third base of TSL.HyuN. Will he be able to do anything about it, though? The Roach Warren is now up. Evolution Chamber going to try and help the block off as well. And as soon as a couple of roaches pop by, this aggression from PUMA with the Hellions is going to be completely and utterly stopped. Indeed, there are actually an additional 2 Hellions in the base that possibly he forgot to bring. There we go. He's lowering the supply depot, and the Hellions will get selected to move out across the map to join these other 2 shortly. But it's not going to be doing any damage now that the Roach Warren is out, and we are going to start saturation on the third base here from TSL.HyuN. So in the meantime, third orbital command coming down now for PUMA, and another tech lab going down on the barracks. We will finally see either Combat Shield or Stim come out. We do have Banshees with Cloak coming out, so because there aren't going to be any medevacs anytime soon, I would not blame him if he went Combat Shield first, but of course, Stim is still an option. Let's wait and see what pops out on this production tab. In the meantime, +1 Carapace now going to be coming out for TSL.HyuN. Does he have +1 on anything else? I don't know, because the Zergling just got roasted, and it looks like those Hellions are going to get shut down by those roaches there anyway. No, +1 attack has not started yet, and finally it starts through that second evolution chamber right up here. And it looks like the economy is going to start flourishing for TSL.HyuN any minute now, and the pressure is going to be on PUMA to try and do something about it, and that's exactly what these Cloak Banshees are for. Do we have any Spore Crawlers going up in the base? Yes, we do. One going up in the main, one going up in the third, and one going up in the natural with Queens to boot. So very, very nice play coming out here from TSL.HyuN, anticipating that Banshee timing. 9 minutes and 15 seconds exactly. And these Spore Crawlers are about to finish. He can sense the Banshees incoming. The Roach is getting out of the way as the Spore Crawler is going to be able to take out this Banshee. The Queen going to try and assist as well, trying to do a couple of pot shots, but I think PUMA knows that he's not going to be able to get a tremendous amount of damage done here. And now moving into the main base, but there is also a Spore Crawler there and a Queen. The Queen is going to be moving to the back of the mineral line to try and get as much damage done on this Banshee as possible. The Banshee is already down to half health, actually picking off a couple of drones there, but now the Queen going to ensure that the Banshee will not be able to do any additional damage whatsoever, and PUMA's Cloak Banshee attack has indeed been thwarted, as we do see the Spire going to be coming down for TSL.HyuN as well. And notice the positioning of this. The Spore Crawler is here. He doesn't think the Banshee is going to be coming this way around because he would get hit by the Spore Crawler and or the Queen. So the Spire is going to be hidden here, and we do have a second proxy hatch going to be put up in the main. This is going to be a huge attack from TSL.HyuN. He wants to launch a massive timing. That is why so many of these larvae are going to be popping out now, and a Baneling nest also coming out from. So we could be seeing some Ling, Roach, Baneling, Muta composition. We're going to have to wait and see, because some Roaches are indeed out on the map. It depends on what he chooses to produce later on. Right now, still just droning up and going to try and take his fourth base, but unfortunately the Banshees are going to say no to that. And PUMA actually now has his third mining base as well. So all of a sudden, HyuN now needs to think of something to do, but his army is going to be getting fearsome. He does have 81 drones to the 60 of PUMA at the moment. His army supply is lower, but he's going to be able to completely ramp out those units momentarily. The Spire about to complete, and the Baneling Nest also about to finish. In the meantime, in PUMA's base, what have we got? A lot of barracks and a lot of reactors on these racks as well. If we count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 racks with reactors and an additional 2 with tech labs, that's going to be 10 Marines can be produced at once. He is not joking about this attack. Combat Shield and Stim have both been completed now, and Siege Tanks now popping out, but Siege Mode research has only just started, so his timing isn't going to be at any point soon. Hellions and Banshees still going to be moving out around the middle of the map to try and discourage HyuN doing any sort of pushing out, and HyuN really needs to sort out his creep spread. He needs to get a little bit of creep spread out by the third, so he has a little bit of indication that these attacks are going to be incoming. He hasn't actually bothered spreading creep at all past this one creep tumor outside his natural at the moment, and he could definitely use with a little bit more of that. Nice overlord spread though. He's going to be able to see drops that pop out around the map. Look at all these overlords positioned in very sneaky places over the edges of the map, just checking those counter-attacking routes. And also, there we go, the mutas are now finally out, and he's going to be able to drive the Hellions all the way back home. The third base is probably where the Hellions are going to camp out. A missile turret is already in the mineral line, and we have a bunker that can be filled with Marines if necessary to try and fend off some of these mutas. And here we go, the mutas are going to be actually just chilling out in the middle of the map. But PuMa going for a huge push towards the third and fourth bases, and the fourth base has now been scouted. It looks like the hatch is definitely going to get cancelled. There is no way that's going to survive, and the hatch does successfully get, and the drone actually surviving there, so well done to HyuN. PuMa not actually pushing in to try and take out the drone as well. Nice little bit of micro there from TSL.HyuN, as PuMa going to be sieging up on the high ground here, but HyuN looking forward to possibly doing a counterattack here. A lot of lings, roaches, and banelings going to be coming out here with the Mutalisk towards the natural. No, he actually switches direction and goes towards the third. Is PuMa going to be fast enough? This is what we were talking about before. If PuMa pushes out with a huge army towards the third into the middle of the map, I said it at the beginning of this game, counterattacks can happen, but HyuN is actually heading home. He had the opportunity to take out his third first, but hasn't taken it. He's decided he wants to try and save this base, and that could prove to be a good decision. Baneling going to be so good against his army composition, and everything is getting destroyed by HyuN here. PuMa going to be forced back 139 supply to 158, and HyuN taking a great lead, winning that first engagement of the game, and the mutas now going to try and pick up a couple of medevacs as they head home. What an engagement from HyuN, making the snap decision not to go for the counterattack, come back home and defend, and successfully doing it against PuMa's aggressive attack. And now we have a lot of SCVs being transferred to the natural now, because he knows that HyuN is actually coming in via the third, because HyuN is coming in via the natural, but HyuN going up the ramp sees an awful lot of Marines there and decides, you know what, it's probably not a good idea at the moment, because siege tanks are backing them up as well. And it looks like HyuN is finally going to back off, but the fourth and fifth bases are both being taken behind this, which I really like from HyuN. He says, I've just killed your army, PuMa. You're not going to be able to advance anytime soon. What are you going to do about me double expanding? So I think that's a great decision coming out there from TSL. And if we just take a look at the worker situation, 74 to 71, both players at very healthy 3+ base level, but the army supply is huge for HyuN, and he is now at 195 supply, basically maxed out against the 152 from PuMa. And wow, the drop gets scouted. Very nice stuff here. This overlord, of course, saw it coming, and HyuN was like, where is it? I know it's incoming, let's find out. And the Muta is going to catch up with this medevac. Will they kill it? I think they will. And the drop, a full medevac with Marines, does get taken out on PuMa's half of the map now. Dear, oh dear, PuMa in a little bit of a sticky situation. 166 supplied to 200 now from HyuN, who really should be focusing on those upgrades at this point. And holy crap. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, 52 banelings incoming from HyuN at the moment. Why? That looks like a spider's web of rally points going all the way towards this natural. The drop getting cleaned up there, of course. And actually, these Marines will be thankful that drop got cleaned up, because to be perfectly honest, he does not want to be seeing this when those banelings get there. This is going to be an absolutely sick attack from HyuN. He wants to completely break the backbone of PuMa right now. He knows that PuMa's moving out across the middle of the map, so he's not going to have static defense at home to worry about. Is HyuN going to counterattack, or is he going to meet the army head on? We'll have to wait and see. Another drop coming up in the top, and some banelings going to go there to meet them. I really like this decision. Here we go. The Marines coming in, but the banelings taking all of them out, and we have the main army in the middle surrounded by all sides by this huge Zerg force, and it looks like HyuN is going to be able to absolutely clean up PuMa here. 156 to 138 supply right now, and there are still siege tanks on the high ground. Will PuMa be able to hold? SCVs now being pulled, but banelings doing so well against him. So many workers killed. 9 at the moment and counting. TSL.HyuN going to be able to remax so quickly. 5 base versus 3 base. A fourth now being taken from PuMa, but a Zergling knows exactly what's going on there. So HyuN is going to have somewhere else to direct his energies. More Zerglings pouring out into the middle of the map to try and take out this small force here. He might be able to. I don't know. He's actually going to be going from the top. A lot of Zerglings and banelings though now rolling in, and PuMa is going to have to fall back. But will it be fast enough? Decent baneling hits, and everything gets picked up in the medevac. That's exactly what he needs to do right there. And PuMa, bizarrely, now ahead on supply. Maybe HyuN a little bit over-aggressive. Let's take a look at the worker supply. 75 to 68, but PuMa just be non-stop producing Marines. Those racks with the reactors really doing him good there. 158 to 138 supply in favor of PuMa as it currently stands. Very, very nice there. And SCV just going to be scouting to see if this base gets taken as well. My god, these two players have been going at a hammer and tongs. PUMA has taken an absolute battering in this game so far, but he is trying his best to come back. His production is off the hook at the moment, but all those siege tanks getting taken out in the middle of the map. Nice fungals, but I think these infestors are going to have to head home without any support whatsoever. Will he be able to keep them alive? Yes, it looks like PUMA isn't going to be giving chase at this time, and HyuN is going to have to remax on his army. He doesn't have any Mutalisks left, though, so he's not able to kill the medevacs. That could actually prove to be very decisive. So many medevacs here with this army, able to heal the Marines at such a rapid rate. And HyuN, with no mutas, because he is going Infestor Tech, and that's where all his gas is going, will he actually be able to take out these medevacs? It looks like this small attack into the 5th base might finally prove to be advantageous for PUMA, and has HyuN overextended himself in this game? We'll wait and see momentarily. We're going to have a Zergling run by into the 4th, though. He's going to say, if you're going to kill my base, I am also going to kill yours. And that is an entirely appropriate response, but he needs to do it pretty quickly. The Planetary Fortress is already complete. So you've got a couple of Banelings here, but there aren't actually too many SCVs here, so unless he's crashing the SCVs into the Planetary Fortress, they're not going to be terribly effective. We do actually see, oh wow, a couple of Changelings going to be walking over the map towards the direction of PUMA's base, just to make sure there isn't a huge army there, and as soon as he realizes it's just a Planetary, nothing else, I think HyuN is going to go for it. There we go, we do see the Zerglings now, more Banelings morphed in. I think he just wants to kill the Planetary with Banelings at this point, but I'm not sure how well that's going to work. PUMA now up to 190 supply, and oh no, all the SCVs were going to join in the attack. I think PUMA was thinking about going all in, but obviously as soon as he saw those Banelings morphing, I'm not sure he wanted to do that anymore. And the infestors from the high ground here, will they fungal? They will indeed. All of those SCVs going down. No repairs possible on the Planetary Fortress. So many SCVs getting taken out there, but that's given PUMA enough time to bring his army back, and all of a sudden HyuN has not been able to deny this base. The 4th and the 5th hatcheries for HyuN are now down. He is back up to 192 supply, but I can't help but feel the last couple of minutes have swung the game in PUMA's favor. HyuN doing so well with his aggression in that early game, but PUMA able to take it back with his ridiculous production, and now he's going to be denying this hatchery as well. That's going to go down very quickly indeed, and it looks like HyuN isn't even going to try and save it at this time. The army is going to be going for an absolutely huge counterattack. What is the production like? Still more racks, more reactors, more tech labs going down for PUMA. And he is at 199 supply to the 185 for HyuN, who is now mounting an absolutely huge counterattack. It looks like PUMA is going to come back to defend as well, but those siege tanks are awfully slow. Are we going to go into the natural? The Banelings are arriving. The SCVs trying to repair, but everything getting taken out here, and a lot of Zerglings moving into the natural as well as the main base. The siege tank on the high ground doing an incredible amount of damage, but infested Terrans everywhere from these infestors, able to get decent fungals off. It looks like the army from PUMA is going to clean up HyuN, but will HyuN be able to do enough damage with this run by? We're going to have to wait and see. It doesn't look like it. The entire army has indeed gone down. The infested Terrans still doing a decent amount of damage, and a lot of Zerglings in the main base. So many SCVs going down, but the standing army from PUMA is going to be huge, and I fear that the attack that's going to come out of this PUMA, his revenge attack against HyuN, with simultaneously a drop going down, killing all the overlords as well, is going to be a little bit too much. HyuN now down to 77 supply against the 174 from PUMA at the moment, and finally everything does get cleaned up. What is the work supply? 39 to 33. My god, the drops everywhere doing so much damage. Work is killed 48 to 47. These guys are basically neck and neck, but the problem is they're neck and neck in terms of economy, and the army, standing army from PUMA, is simply way too large. Since the mutas died, there was no answer to these medevacs from TSL.HyuN, and I genuinely think that was his biggest problem in this game. Unable to shut down the drops effectively because the healing continued, and when the large armies decided to engage, he had no way of dealing with those medevacs, still relying on a purely ground force. And unfortunately, this Ling run by is not going to be a Ling run by very much longer, depleting in size as it unfortunately runs by the entire army of PUMA there. More and more sensor towers are going to see exactly where the army is. Nice fungal, but only one fungal is not going to matter. GG from HyuN, unable to counter the healing from these medevacs, and PUMA takes game number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, I am JoRoSaR. That was an incredible game number 1 between PUMA and HyuN. We'll be getting into game number 2 shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.